Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the final episode of Fan Appreciation Month here on Reaction and Review. Believe me, guys, this actually has been a fantastic month. I have loved doing every single one of these episodes, and well, even though this is the last episode this month, trust me, I've got plenty of other stuff. I will continue to go to stuff off of the wish list, but it's time to actually take care of tonight's little bit of business here. Tonight, guys, I'm doing, as promised, a buddy cop zombie comedy. I really don't know what else to say. I can tell you that it stars Joe Piscopo, which apparently that was a big deal back in 1987. Nowadays, that's seen as a huge joke, and for good reason, because the man is pretty much anti-comedy. Tonight's film is called Dead Heat, and yeah. Shockingly, guys, I really have to explain this. Now, the episode I did before this was Caligula, and Caligula was one of the most infamous indie films ever, and the DVD had no bonus features on it to speak of. Right here is Dead Heat, a film I had never heard of until I was just browsing on Amazon one day. This thing has everything from commentary. It has fucking deleted scenes. It has just this thing has tons and tons of bonus features, and it's a film I don't think anybody's ever fucking heard of. Partially because it stars Joe Piscopo, and well, most people want to forget everything involving Joe Piscopo. And those of you who weren't alive in the 80s, you are very lucky you didn't have to put up with his brand of bullshit. So, yes, guys, this is a buddy cop zombie comedy from 1987. It runs about 84 minutes, roughly. So, the plus side is it's not nearly as long as Caligula. That might, though, be the only positive I can give to it, but there's only one way to find out, and that's if I actually watch it. So, without further ado, it's time to sit back, relax, and check out Dead Heat. We have a whole bunch of cops here, and all of them are opening fire on two suspects who just walked out of a jewelry store. There's like dozens of cops here. They can't hit these two guys who are probably about 20 feet away. What fucking academy trained these cops? Because none of them can shoot for shit. Okay, I have no idea what in the hell the creature was that I just saw, but that thing, holy shit, was that thing ever ugly. God damn. So when you die and you're brought back from the dead, your veins blink and glow like Christmas lights. That's kind of fucked up, man. I have a question. If he is dead, and his heart is no longer pumping, the blood is no longer flowing, why the hell does he bleed when he's shot? Especially when earlier he cut himself and his veins just sort of blinked and glowed a little. Why is he bleeding now? I'm kind of curious. You know, guys, all of a sudden when you see a pan of chicken wings begin to wiggle and move a little bit, it actually kind of makes you a little bit nauseous. Just sort of thought I'd mention. Wow, guys, Roger all of a sudden looks a hell of a lot worse, and he was, and really only about like a minute has passed. He went from looking okay to looking, well, a little bit deader than he has been for a good chunk of this film. Guys, I would just like to mention that when a bad actor dies in a film, it makes me feel really good. So even though I was supposed to feel really sad about that death scene, no, I'm really not feeling anything bad, honestly. Wow, I just got to see a body kind of very quickly rot and kind of like melt away, and that was fucking nauseating. I actually kind of feel like I'm going to be a little bit sick. Damn. Okay. I'd like to know exactly what the hell causing your ambulance to flip over while while you're handcuffed in the back, causing it to flip over and explode was going to accomplish. Oh, I see. They're just gonna cart off his corpse. But he's still belted to the fucking gurney. Oh, that wasn't his corpse. Okay. I guess that makes a little bit of sense in a warped sort of way. So, that was Dead Heat. You know, I just love the 80s. I mean, just this song. Just listen to this thing. A really good movie closes out with a great song. I love it. Okay, let me pop out the disc here. Wow. This was one hell of a way to close out Fan Appreciation Month, guys. Holy hell. Okay. First of all, I should mention that when I first heard about this thing, I heard it was a buddy cop zombie comedy starring Joe Piscopo. I thought the worst, because I know that Joe Piscopo can't act. And yet, here I am, holding on to the movie with a big smile. I loved this thing. First of all, guys, I'm kind of happy with the fact that Dead Heat took a totally different approach to zombie films. Because I should mention that back in 1987, you had one type of zombie, and that was the classic shambler, like crawling, shuffling zombie. Okay? And it wouldn't be for years until we would get films which had runners. And I'm going to tell you right now, I hate running zombies. I have always been a fan of the, like shambling, like slow-moving zombie. But this film, it really doesn't have runners as much as it's just you're back and you can still think, you can still talk, you can still function, you just don't have a heartbeat. And your body is slowly rotting away. That's kind of cool. That actually is a rather interesting take on it, and I loved it. It was completely unique. At least unique to me. I've seen no other film that has ever tried that. At least tried it in this manner. And I really did think it was a very well done film. Writing was really strong. I mean, because it really does take a lot to make a different type of zombie film and make it this well. You actually have to have interesting characters. You have to have a good story. You have to have decent pacing, and the script had that. At least I'm basing it on what I just saw. The script had all of that in spades, which I'm really happy with because once again, I really thought this thing was going to suck. I really did. But shockingly, the acting was really good, and I'm talking specifically from Treat Williams and from Joe Piscopo because those were the two I was the most wary about. Because, well, I'm not quite sure about if I really don't know if Treat Williams can act, but I know that Joe Piscopo usually can't. The fact that he was able to pull out a decent performance was stunning, to say the very least. And the fact that we have the rest of the cast populated with people like Darren McGavin and Key Luke and Vincent Price. I knew I was in for something good when I saw those actors, and they were putting out one hell of a show. Top it all off, once again, Piscopo could act. I never in my life thought I would say that. It just feels weird. So yes, guys, the acting was almost perfect. The writing was almost perfect. Effects. I'm going to tell you guys, for a film made in the late 80s that almost nobody had heard of, because, guys, I asked every single person I knew about this. Not a single one had even heard of it. The fact that this thing has stunning visual effects is just mind-boggling. I'm going to tell you guys, I was rather surprised. They were able to do things in this film that would probably be a little bit tough to do today, and make it look half as good, but then again, that's because everyone insists on using CG, and this thing was using wires. Wires made it look a little bit better because you couldn't see the damn wires. It looked really good, and I'm talking about like the decomposition makeup on our like freshly killed hero looked really good. Now the only problem is that it actually is a little bit jarring when he goes from one shot and he looks okay, and then the next shot he looks much worse, and maybe about a minute has passed, and that happens about 3 times. But still, that though is just simply because of makeup wasn't actually like gradually fixed. It was just like rather jarring, like point A to point B when it comes to decomposition. We have a scene that I actually noted on was actually rather nauseating. It was when one of our characters, who we find out at that moment was actually also a reanimated corpse, just very quickly decomposes and melts, and just the skin just melts like clear off of the body. It is one of the most disgusting things I have ever seen. I really was fighting back the urge to gag. And when you do that for a horror film, mission accomplished. Because I have seen a lot of nasty shit. Nothing has made me feel that ill in quite a while. So I do have to compliment them on that. And then there's the scene in the Chinese restaurant where everything is coming to life, and some of that is just enough to turn your stomach. And once again, that actually is because the effects are done so well. Camera work is really good. The lighting is really solid. The like music, and there's very little music in the film. However, what is there is great. I'm actually trying to think if I can think of any negatives. No, there actually is nothing when it comes to like plot holes or any other big issue that I actually would see as this major flaw. Besides just basic stuff such as dead bodies bleeding when they are shot. That shouldn't happen because there is no blood flow, but that is such a minor complaint that it actually feels almost petty even mentioning it now. Honestly, guys, if you are looking for a really good horror film to watch, because even though this thing actually claims that it is a zombie comedy, there is very little comedy to speak of. There actually is a little bit more than what is normally in traditional horror film, but there also really isn't enough to officially call it a zombie comedy necessarily, I guess. The film actually is a little bit more of like a zombie action comedy with big emphasis on action. If you are looking for a rather entertaining zombie flick, especially since in a few days from now we're all going to be celebrating Halloween, and a lot of people like to just sit down and watch corny, cheesy like horror flicks. Guys, you're probably going to want to add this one to your list. This film is fantastic. I loved every minute of it, and I am still stunned by that because I really had that feeling that this film was going to be a piece of crap, but instead it just wound up being so damn good. I'm really happy to have a copy of this thing on DVD. I'm probably gonna watch it with commentary later on tonight, just because I'm kind of curious what the hell they say in the commentary on this. Now, because this thing came off of the wish list, I do have to do the shout out, and this one came from my buddy David, which again I also thought it was going to suck. I really thought it was going to suck ass because it came from him, and he has a really bad habit of just sending me garbage, such as Mr. Wrong and Collision Course. You can find his channel at youtube.com/user/Little Ridley Stairs. By all means, guys, swing on over there and check out his stuff, as well as the other stuff which is over there, because I actually am not sure anymore if it's 2 people or 3 people who run that channel. But still, guys, by all means, swing on over, and they have some really good stuff over there. Sub them, watch them, love them. So yeah, guys, with that, we come to the close of Fan Appreciation Month. at least the first fan appreciation month. I am probably going to do this again later because this was really fun. I would like to thank everybody who's been sending in stuff off of the Amazon wish list. You guys are all awesome. I have so much stuff here that I don't think I'm gonna be running out of ideas for episodes for a long time. So guys, once again, I would just like to thank everybody who has been sending in stuff off of the Amazon wish list. I would like to thank the people who I featured in this theme month, dedicated entirely to you guys. Really, I am just proud that I was able to get through this, and the fact that I also was able to celebrate episode 50 over the course of this month. I just feel that was a fantastic accomplishment. And I really do hope to continue to entertain you guys for a long time. So, with that, we come to the close of this installment of Reaction and Review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.